So I have been putting this video off, I don't know why, but for like months now. So I wanted to do like a little 2 years in of moving from New Jersey to Florida. So obviously, like, I feel like I have enough knowledge now to be able to give you like an accurate kind of depiction of what to expect. Now, of course, like, had this been years ago, like 10 years ago before like COVID and stuff, like things would be so much different. So, you know, people always say, oh, we're moving to Florida either because of the weather, because of the prices, or just because like they're retiring. Honestly, now Florida as a whole is definitely not like the retirement state. Like it is for like the weather and just that kind of vibe, but the prices totally different. So I'm gonna break down just some different points or just different areas where I think that obviously Florida differs from New Jersey or just the Northeast in general. Obviously, like, I lived in a very like rural, affluent area of New Jersey. I didn't live anywhere like near New York or anything, so I can't really compare it to that. I don't like New York City, so it's not that. A lot of people assume like whenever you say New Jersey, you're like from like Hoboken or Jersey City, but I was from like a very rural area. I was right next to Pennsylvania. I went to school, like the same group of kids. I grew up in the same area. I never left. People are always shocked by like, I have never traveled in my life. Like I've driven up and down the East Coast for like different visits or whatever, but I've never been on like a vacation. I've been to South Carolina, like Myrtle Beach a few times for Dance National. But besides, like, I've never left the country. I've never been like, you know, to California or any of the states in the middle of the country. I had only been to Florida one time, and it was 4th grade. It was like our spring break. My grandparents took me and my brother, and we went to Disney World. Now, obviously, Disney World in Orlando is such a different, it's obviously it's not an accurate depiction of Florida. It is its own little bubble. It's, you know, it's definitely like amusement park, very family oriented, stuff like that. Like it was not an accurate depiction of the entire state, because Florida is a massive state. A lot of people, you know, they have these associations of, oh, it's totally beach, like it's totally like Miami vibes, or it's, you know, they think of Disney. But like the northern area of Florida is different from the central area, and then from South Florida, of course. So when I was deciding to move down here, it was actually between Texas and Florida. I was thinking of moving to like Austin. I am so glad I did not make that choice. I think it was more because like I knew no one. Like I had no one to even talk to about what is it like living in Texas. Like I just saw it like on YouTube. A lot of the people I follow on YouTube live there and things like that. But I definitely am so glad that I was like, no, I ended up coming to Florida, because I realized that I am such a beach person. Like I hadn't been to the beach in years though, from New Jersey. Like when I was younger, we would go to the shore like a few times during the summer, but it was like a whole big thing. Like it would take like over an hour to get there. And it was like a whole, you had to plan the entire day around it. And it wasn't like very enjoyable. Like I thought it was kind of boring. Like Jersey beaches aren't that great. I don't know. When I moved down here, I ended up getting like a realtor who was like showing me different apartments like via her phone. And I ended up getting a place in West Delray. And this is like, it's very like residential. It's a lot of like retirement communities and then different like condo complexes. I got my 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. It was about like 870 something square feet. It was a big apartment for my first ever living alone situation. I mean, it was good. And it was in August of 2021. So prices were, maybe they weren't at their highest yet, obviously, but obviously they were creeping up. And I got it for $14.75. And to me, I was like, oh my God, that is so expensive. How am I gonna afford this? I was just freaking out because I knew that this specific condo, like you had to pay all your utilities. I didn't pay for anything. A lot of condos down here do include like water and cable and stuff. Mine, of course, didn't. So I was like freaking out about that. But I ended up coming down here. I mean, at first glance, like, it looked beautiful. It was nice. It felt safe and good. Obviously, there's a lot of, when you live next to someone, like in a condo, I mean, this is anywhere, you don't know who you're living next to, and the noise problems and the HOA. So that's the first point of contention here is the HOAs. They're like everywhere, every single place. Even if you live in like a single family home, like there's probably an HOA. In New Jersey, it's not like that, at least not that I'm aware of, where the HOAs are like just, you can't even fight them. Like, let's say there's like some sort of complaint, you want to get a lawyer, sue them, you can't. Like, the HOAs win, they cover everything. And this HOA did nothing in the apartment complex, loud noise complaints, because everyone down here has dogs, everyone. Like, swear to God, I've never seen anything like it. I remember when I first moved down here and I went to like Target the first time and I just saw people with their dogs on leashes just casually walking in the store, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, in New Jersey, you can't do that. So it was very shocking. But everyone has a dog down here, and a lot of them are emotional support animals, even though they're not, and they just get like fake papers so they can then have them in the condos. So anyway, so that's one. So everyone has a dog, everyone has a pet. The HOAs are absolutely crazy and so strict and terrible down here. So I got my apartment again for $14.75. Now, rents are absolutely wild down here. Now I was in Delray, so it's Delray, then it's Boca, then it's like Deerfield, Pompano, and then you get into like Fort Lauderdale area, and then, you know, it's like Hollywood, Aventura, and then like Miami. So the rents go, obviously, they get more expensive as you go down for the most part. They're still super expensive, like West Palm, which is up north. So anywhere in the Tri-County, South Florida area, so that's Palm Beach County, Broward County, and then Miami-Dade. Obviously, rents in like the city in Miami are just absolutely wild, like, you know, $3,500 for like a one bedroom, like crazy. When my lease was up after that year, my landlord was only gonna raise it to like $16.75, so only $200, and that was crazy because all the other apartments that I could have like rented again are like, you know, up like at least $1,900 minimum, and that was like for something like worse than what I had. A lot of them are like two something, like $2,100 maybe for like a decent one bedroom. However, I was so adamant of buying, and I bought at a terrible time, honestly. Everyone was still cash buyers, and I'm not happy where I am now, but I have a whole video on that, so you guys can watch that. But that is indicative of, it's not cheap to live in Florida anymore. Like, it once was, maybe like, again, like 10 years ago, pre-COVID era, it's just as expensive as the Northeast now. It's one of the most, I think it's like one of the most expensive places in the entire country, besides like San Francisco and like actual New York City. I just saw a statistic this morning where I think the Fort Lauderdale, Miami metro area is the fourth most valuable like real estate market. So take that as you will. It is extremely expensive down here. Obviously, it's hard to tell like what are true Florida prices, like, considering inflation is just crazy. So when you go to the grocery store and you see like a box of cereal for like $6, it's like, that's not just Florida, it's everywhere, but still. So besides like prices, and obviously inflation just plays so much into that, yeah, there's no state income taxes, but they get you on other taxes. Like, there's still sales tax. There's, you know, when you register your car down here, you're going to be paying like at least $400 for just getting like transferring the title and all that stuff. This year when we got our new like property taxes, mine went up like $2,000. And the auto insurance, so everyone just got like reassessed and everyone's went up. It doesn't matter who you're with, you can't live there. Every single person's car insurance went up, because the other thing about living here is how absolutely horrible and scary the roads are. Now, I think it's a mix of just, you have so many different people, right? Because Florida is a mix of everyone in the country. It's really hard to find people who are actually born and raised in Florida. A lot of those people end up leaving, but right, especially in South Florida. So it's like the touristy, absolutely like most expensive area of Florida. You are getting obviously the old retired people who probably should be driving, crazy partiers, people on vacation, it's the Wild West on the roads. And for me, someone who like, I haven't I didn't drive in New Jersey much. I drove super local, like to the stores, to a doctor's appointment, like whatever, on like backcountry roads. So I just didn't have much driving experience. Coming down here, and the main way to get around is via your car. So if you're coming from, let's say, New York City, and you're moving to Miami, you're still gonna have trouble because you still like need a car, honestly, to be able to do anything. And the roads are just insane. There's no rules on the road. Like 95, which is the major highway, obviously that goes right down all of South Florida here. Basically, like the minimum is 95. Like you better be going fast. It's just crazy. You see crazy thing. No one uses their signal. No one uses it except for me. So that is scary because you need to be alert. But there's like multiple accidents, you know, every day, just like in my own little town. Like it's crazy. So of course, car insurance rates went up because it's just very dangerous to drive down here. So that's one thing, and that plays into obviously the cost of living here and just the safety. Like it's a little, I don't like driving. The other public transportation though is like the Tri-Rail, which is basically like the commuter train. Although it's super cheap, it's like, you know, $5 a round trip on the weekends and stuff. You can get like commuter passes for during the week and stuff like that. Like and there's a stop in every single town. So that's really good. And then there's like the Bright Line, which is like the new big train that they just built, like a stop in Miami, Aventura, Fort Lauderdale, Boca, and then West Palm, and then Orlando. So now you can like get to Disney World and like, they say it's like cheaper, but honestly, it's probably better to just drive. That's super expensive, so it's not something that you would do just like for normal commuting. Driving isn't bad, like it won't take that long. Like yes, there is traffic, you don't want to leave at rush hour, but it's like doable. Like you could probably get down to Miami from like me in like a little over an hour if there's no traffic, but there's always accidents. So then you gotta take that into account. So I mean, it's like it's easy to drive down here, but it's a little scary. So that's cost and public transportation. Grocery shopping down here is fantastic. There's so many places and so many local places, which like I would assume, oh, like you lived in like a rural farmland area in New Jersey. Like we'd had nothing. I had like one grocery store for the entire like county. So here there's literally every single possible store, all the chains, everything from, you know, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Publix. Obviously I don't shop at Publix and I don't recommend anyone does. You know, Walmart, Aldi, all those. Then there's all the local places. So it's like the Boys Farmers Market, Roarbeck's, Sweeney Bananas. There's this new 99-cent place in Pompano. Like there's so many like wholesalers and just and obviously like on the road there's like fruit stands and people just set things up because people are growing their own food. Like everyone has a mango tree and stuff like that. So it's very easy to get healthy, awesome produce down here, especially if you're like me, like someone who's a vegan. You have your pick of so much stuff at affordable prices because those are the foods that are relatively stable for the most part, and prices obviously have risen so much since when I moved down here, but it's still decently affordable. So there's that. So it's very easy to grocery shop and there's so many different options. Obviously, if you're someone who eats out a lot, yes, there's your pick of every restaurant possible, millions. This is a tourist vacation destination, so there's going to be a lot of food options. It's expensive though, obviously, especially with inflation, and it's if you can afford it, great, but it's definitely not, if you're living down here full time, it's probably not your best option. You need to learn how to cook. But that's that goes for everywhere in every state, right? So, but the other thing is, there's so many different places, obviously, to shop, but also to do. Like, it's being in a place where there's so many different people coming down here for whatever. There's snowbirds that are coming down here for the winter, or just people on vacation. There's so many activities and events and festivals going on. So every weekend, every weeknight, there's just so much going on. So it's easy to meet people. If you put yourself out there and you go to these events, you will meet people 100%. But there's just so many different options, so you're never bored. There's always something to do during the day. If you really want to go and leave your house and do something, you can. You know, so that's awesome. It's not like you're stuck in the middle of nowhere with like just you on your property and there's something to do. Like there's everything to do down here. And so that's everything from also, you know, the nature. I never realized that I would be an outdoorsy person. I am 100% an outdoorsy person. I love my Florida hikes. So people are like, how are you hiking in Florida? And I'm like, there's thousands of nature trails, all these parks, the national parks to like the small local town parks, and all these awesome nature trails. I absolutely love it. That's like my favorite weekend activity, to go out, go on a nice little hike for a while in the morning, and then do whatever. Like, it is so wonderful and relaxing. And I'll do it right in the heat, the hottest part of August, and just be sweating and just taking pictures and videos of the beautiful tropical trees and animals, all the wildlife, all the bird watching, alligator. I've only seen one alligator like in the flesh. I'm a little upset, maybe two. I want to see more, but I should like go to the Everglades or something. But so there's all that kind of stuff. Obviously there's other like museums, galleries, beautiful art, just sightseeing, like any of that kind of, there's so many different things. There's so many different activities too. So, you know, you got your ice skating, your rock climbing, all that kind of stuff, those kind of activities. You know, like painting, bowling, trivia nights, all that kind of stuff. And then of course, if you're bored and you don't know what to do, just go to the beach. Just go to the beach. That's it. And it's so easy to go to the beach down here. That's why it doesn't seem like a hassle. And that's one of my conditions though, is I have to be within like 10 minutes of the beach, wherever I live. It doesn't matter, whatever. So I would never move to like Davie because it's so far inland. It would take you like over 30 minutes to get to the beach. I need very easy access to get there. So honestly, like in the mornings, I'll just throw on my bathing suit, hop in my car, drive, park, walk down to the beach. And I usually go to Delray. It has the best, and I find free parking because I refuse to pay to park. You can get permits if, like in your town that you live in, but like right now I still know the free parking, so I'm just gonna park there for now. And I just walk down to the beach. It takes me like 2 hours, and then I come back. And it's like, I still have the entire day. And like, you can't do that in New Jersey. Like it was a whole big thing. Maybe you can if you live like down the shore, but you know, it's winter half the time. So you can even like go to the beach on Christmas. Like my first Christmas down here, I went to the beach. There was people down there obviously on vacation and stuff, but they had like Christmas music playing, and like all the families, they had little tents set up and stuff. And I just felt very like comfortable there. Like I was by myself, but it was nice. It was very nice and relaxing. So there's that. So the beach is always an option. There's always somewhere to go because of that. And I think Florida is super diverse, obviously, because of all the different people moving down here. So you're gonna find people that you relate to. And obviously it's a Republican state, so a lot of people, take that as you will. I was interviewed recently for a Vox article on everyone moving to Florida, and it doesn't bother me, obviously, because I am a Republican, and that's like what I wanted moving from New Jersey after COVID. So that's something to consider. If you're not, then don't come here. But it's, you know, I feel absolutely fine. Like I love that the state is like that. So, and that's why it is super lax on like the rules and stuff. I don't know, the driving, still insane. But I think the biggest change is, now they say like the South is like, you know, slower and like, you know, things are more like relaxed, but Florida isn't like the South. Like it's the most southern state, but it's like obviously different. The vibe is totally different. I think like northern Florida, like Tallahassee, those areas, like the Panhandle, like that obviously is more southern. Orlando's not, you know, and then we have South Florida. It's not, I mean, you have Miami, you have the Miami vibe, so it's not southern, but it's still super laid back. And it is, the moment you move down here, like your first morning that you wake up, first of all, the sun is just so bright here, and the sky is so blue, and the air is so fresh. I swear, it is, you immediately feel better. There is no like seasonal depression here. Like you don't wake up and you're just like, oh my God, like it's gloomy and dark and terrible. Of course it is a little gloomy today because it's raining, but like for the most part, like 350 days of the year, like it's absolutely fine. So there's that. Like if you really need the positive, sunny, beautiful weather all the time, like I do, this is the only place to be. It's the only place. The humidity doesn't bother me. I still don't really notice it that much. And I think that's because I'm on like the coast. Like if you were in Orlando, like Central Florida, you're gonna feel that humidity a lot more because it's just the temperature, the weather is just so much different because it's inland, whatever. The vibe down here, I think that's what puts everyone in a good mood, is the weather. So people are just laid back. It's just a lot more chill. Like there's something, it's very hard to describe, because of course everyone is like, you know, there's so many New Yorkers down here, and there are people who are like rush and like me from New Jersey, but something changes, and there's just, you can tell there's something different down here. There's a whole vibe, and you will only experience it once you live down here for an extended period of time. And I absolutely love it. Like that is like the biggest positive. It's just the vibe, the Florida vibe. So that's everything from the weather to just how people interact. Obviously, some people are like pretty annoying and just they only are thinking of themselves, but it's like, I don't know, there's so much like just good, positive beach vibes down here. I think the other only concerns are like, you know, sure, hurricanes. You have to think about that, especially when you buy property. Like the insurance, the homeowner's insurance has all increased. You know, these companies are like going insolvent and leaving the country. These companies are going insolvent and like leaving the state. So there's concerns with that. And yeah, of course it's scary. And it can happen anywhere in the state. Like it's not just the coast, it's not just the flooding, but it's like the tornadoes that happen and like the wind and all that kind of stuff. So you do have to think about that. But that definitely is like a small con, I think, because there's going to be natural disasters anywhere in the country. So you've got to pick your battles. And I think all the positives like outweigh the negatives. I didn't experience any of this in New Jersey, right? Like I was stuck and there was nothing to do. I was so bored. I wasted the first 25 years of my life. Like I really feel at home here, which is just incredible. Like this is where I belong, and I know that it is. Like I have never felt so at home and just like welcome and just at peace with where I live in terms of like the state. I never felt that way in New Jersey, and maybe that's because I didn't explore. Like I grew up within a certain constraint. Like when I was younger, I couldn't do certain things. Like I couldn't just take myself anywhere. But I just feel so much freedom here, and it is definitely my home, and I can't believe that it took me so long to get here, and I'm so glad I came here. I can't imagine not living here now. So if you're thinking of moving to Florida, yes, it's an absolutely wonderful decision. If you love all these things, if you are a beach person, and when you move to Florida, the only place to move is South Florida. Why would you move to the north? Why would you move inland? I don't know. Disney World is super expensive, so it's not like you're gonna be there every day. You need to be at the beach. Of course, it's super crowded now. So it's so congested, and I don't know how many more people we can take in. That's the other thing. It's just like they're building so many more condos and all these things, and just like tearing down old buildings and just putting them up anywhere. But there's going to be a point where it's like there's no room for all these people. So obviously there's people moving out because of affordability problems. So I don't know, but I'm just glad that I came here when I did. Of course, I wish I came here, you know, earlier, where I could have gotten even cheaper like rates and all that stuff when I bought, but I'm still so glad with my decision, and I would never go back. I don't regret coming down here. This is absolutely everything I wanted. So yeah, hopefully that covers most of it. I'm sure I'm forgetting so much stuff, but that is how I feel. Like 2 years and 1 month since 2 years and like 2 months almost. That I've lived here, and I absolutely love it, and this is definitely home, and I'm so proud to call it my home. I feel so much Florida pride. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you have anything you want me to address, any questions, please let me know, and I will be happy to make another video and just kind of expand on things. Oh, one other thing is the job market. Now, Florida, like employment rates, if you get like first of all, like government rates, I see like $35,000 for like a senior level marketing position, like crazy low. Like you can't. I think to get a good paying job, thankfully there are a lot of tech companies now moving here into like Boca, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, but if you want a good job that's going to allow you to live down here comfortably, it has to be something remote, and it has to be something from another state, because the in-state jobs, and especially, it obviously is a lot of hospitality stuff down here, of course, but the rates are just not good. And obviously the job market is so screwed up just everywhere in the country, but if you're looking for like an in-house kind of job down here with like a local Florida company, you're not gonna be making a living down here. So again, take that as you will. I don't know. That's why it's either you gotta have your own thing or you gotta have like a remote job with another company somewhere else. So, okay, that was my last point. So like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you back here next week.